Okay. Well, that sucked. The the Lakers just got beat. Their 8-game win streak is officially over. Boston was clearly the better team in all aspects. A lot of people give Boston crap for kind of leaning on the three-point shot a little too much, but their defense is incredible. They were just locking the Lakers up all the second half. I mean, first half, Lakers gave it a fight, and it looked like it was going to be kind of a classic battle between these two iconic teams who are arch rivals, but it didn't turn out that way. It just for some reason the Lakers just had it. The third quarter is their Achilles heel. It has been all season long. It has changed a little bit since Luka got here or to LA, but this game was the perfect example of why it just kind of all falls apart in the third quarter. They just couldn't. No shots were falling. The energy was gone. Like I don't know what it is because I think JJ is a great coach from what I've seen so far. At the halftime, whatever happens in halftime does not inspire this team to be better in the next quarter, right, or the next half. It's just they just kind of fall apart, and it's exactly what happened in this game. It was kind of hard to watch at times because you're just like, man, what is going on? Like it's just that kind of magic that they had in the first half is against arguably the best team in the league. I mean, you could put OKC and Cleveland in that bucket, right, or in that category. But I mean, Boston's the defending champs, so until they lose, uh, you could call them the best team in the league. That probably won't sit well with Lakers fans, but uh, Boston's legit, man. I mean, you look at it. I mean, Jason Tatum dropped 40 points, like nothing. I mean, it didn't. He didn't get much resistance. I'm trying to let me pull up his stats real quick. Where is it? Yeah, he dropped a game high 40, had 8 or 12 rebounds, 8 assists. I mean, that's this guy's just becoming a well-rounded player. I mean, I've never been like um in awe of Tatum, and I'm still not, but he's becoming a really good player in all aspects. And he's bought in on defense. I mean, especially Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown's bought in on defense. There's no doubt about that. I mean, there's a few possessions there against Luka where I'm just like, wow, Luka's slow, but his deceptively quick moves and his IQ, like handling the ball and being able to get his space all the time, wasn't there against Jalen. And it reminded me of the finals, the NBA finals. I mean, that kept getting brought up on the podcast or no podcast, the broadcast too. That for some reason Boston just kind of has Luka's number. I mean, they kind of figured out in the finals we stop Luka or we contain him to 30 points and we're going to win this game every game. And Luka did have 34 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, but he did turn over the ball 5 times. He didn't look right physically. I mean, even from the warm-ups, which the broadcast even alluded to, I think Richard Jefferson was saying, he was kind of cringing, like his back, like he was stiff, like he just wasn't moving right. But the thing is, I saw that before last game too. So this might be a lingering thing for Luka. He's just, maybe I don't know if it's somebody brought up a road trip or whatever. Like, I'm like, dude, come on. These guys travel all the time. Like, they have to be ready for this kind of stuff. So I'm not using that as an excuse. Like, give me a break. That's a lazy excuse. LeBron had 22, 14, and 9 assists, but then he was out with a groin injury. And LeBron knew right away, like right away, that something was wrong. Boston have so many players who can switch on defense. Yes, totally, dude. Reginald, that's it, man. They are just. I haven't seen a team put together that well in a long time. Like they have all those boxes checked. They are so stacked in that sense. And I think that's why they're such a good team that can go for far in the playoffs every single year and potentially win it again. I mean, 7-game series is a whole other thing. Who's competing with those guys in the East? I mean, it's easy to say Cleveland, but in the West, I mean, OKC is pretty damn good. I think OKC is like the closest thing you can get to Boston in terms of being great on both sides of the ball. But the Lakers aren't there yet. They're not. And I knew this was going to be that kind of game where if the Lakers win, everybody jumps on the bandwagon, and all of a sudden they're the best team in the West, and they're the biggest threat to Boston or Cleveland or whatever. And OKC is just going to take a back seat immediately, right? No, or the other way around, which is what happened. Okay, here's an update. It's too early to. It's okay. This is Dave McMenamin, ESPN. It is too early to project an accurate timetable for how long LeBron could miss because of his. This doesn't sound good. His left groin injury. However, one source said the initial thought is that it will sideline. Oh wow! It will sideline him for a matter of weeks, not days. I had a feeling, man, because groin injury you don't mess around with, and if you remember, I believe it was a groin that knocked him out that first season in LA. Was it Christmas Day against Golden State? He came up gimpy. Oh, the dog's fighting downstairs. And he was done. He was done for the year. I mean, groin, you don't mess around with groin, especially at age 40, man. Like, you don't mess around with any kind of injury. That's why he's got a probable status every game. You know what I mean? Because it's just like it's just managed game by game. And it reminds me, I mean, Kobe's body was so much more ravaged at that point in his career that like he just had injuries and ailments all over him. I remember being in the locker room and like just waiting and waiting and waiting for him to come to his locker. And I used to get pissed because I was like, you know what is he doing? Like, why is he taking so long? And not for, I was just being selfish because I just wanted to go back and write the story and transcribe quotes and stuff and go home because it's late, like midnight or whatever. And it would take another 2 hours to do all that stuff. And then Kobe would come out and I just realized he just got treatment all over his body, right? I mean, that's why you see those pictures of him like on the bench where he's got ice packs and like pretty much every joint in his body. So LeBron, you can't mess around with this stuff. So they've already been super careful with him. So, I mean, if they say weeks, damn, I don't know. I don't know how long that's going to take then. And this is a rough road trip, right? You got Brooklyn on Monday, which is a throwaway game, but this is potentially a trap game right now without LeBron, which is there's no way he's playing Monday. Who knows? I mean, who knows what level of competition the Lakers are going to have in terms of, heart and energy on the floor. I don't know. The core is young and healthy as well. Yeah, that's true, Brett. If you're talking about Boston, yeah, they've got that. They're in that mode, championship mode for the next, I don't know, maybe 5 years. I don't know, which sucks from the Lakers' perspective. But anyway, so LeBron obviously is the biggest concern right now. The loss I kind of thought was possible because you win 8 in a row and the pressure mounts, right? The wear and tear mounts as well, and then you face a juggernaut like them. Right. And you would think, hey, they win 8 straight games and they beat some good teams, that they would be prepared against a team like this. But Boston's another beast, man. They're good. And they proved it tonight. That's for sure. But like I said, the main concern now is LeBron and whether or not he's going to be able to get back on the floor, soon. Like, I mean, they've got, so they got Brooklyn on Monday, right? And I believe they got a vicious back-to-back against starts with Milwaukee, I believe. Okay, so yeah, in Milwaukee on Thursday, in Denver on Friday. Excuse me. And then Sunday they're back in LA for Phoenix. And then that's a back-to-back too against San Antonio the next day. I mean, it's San Antonio, but it's still a back-to-back. And they're going to chase around De'Aaron Fox. And then they got another back-to-back against Denver and Milwaukee on that following Wednesday. That's brutal. I mean, this is going to be without LeBron. This is going to be rough, to say the least. I mean, it's going to be a true testament of where this team is as a whole, right? Like not just LeBron and Luka. Then Luka came up a little lame too tonight. Like he didn't look, healthy. So I don't know where that goes. That'll be the next update, I'm sure. I'm sure they're working on it now. Like little PR from the Lakers side, like, oh, we'll let you know, Monday or or tomorrow or something, because that's what they do. But that's what all teams do. But um, is Rui playing right now, or is it? No, no. Before the game, he got ruled out for another week, so he's out for the entire road trip. So the earliest he can get back, I think, is Sunday against Phoenix. I believe that's because JJ said this, so it was like right out of JJ's mouth, So it wasn't this kind of a cold press release. It was what they were saying, and that sucks too. Like that's your depth is depleted that way, and then I don't know, not good, not a good start to the road trip whatsoever. I mean, if they put up a fight like that in the first quarter or the first half, like they and did it in the second half, I would have been like, okay, these guys are sustainable, even with LeBron going out, and they lose, fine. I mean, they chopped the lead down to like I think 5 at one point, single digits for sure, and I think it was 5 was the lowest. This I just jumped on right after, so I don't know. I can look at the box score and see, but man, I am just. It's a real gut punch, when these things happen. It's like you get all high with this. The largest lead was 22 for Boston. Lakers actually led by 8 points at one point. Wow. Injuries hitting bad now for the Lakers. Hopefully ready in a few weeks. Yeah, hopefully, man. It's just I think the biggest concern when these things happen at this point in the season is kind of morale, energy, and momentum, right? You want all 3 of those things to be going in the right direction. And you start losing the big boys like Milwaukee and Denver back to back on the road, and then you got to do it again. I mean, I know they'll pull out a win here and there, but I just don't know how they're going to fare without LeBron for one, without Rui. It's going to be tough. I mean, you look at the box score tonight, and it was basically just LeBron, Reeves, and Luka. That's it. There's not a lot of guys that can pick you up. I mean, connect every once in a while. Is it time to unleash Bronny? No, God, no. No. If it gets to that point, then they're out of the playoffs. That's when you unleash Bronny. Not right now. But I don't know. I mean, maybe they make a move now. Maybe they waive Cam Reddish. I mean, I think the deadline for picking up players that are eligible to go into the playoffs is passed, but I don't quote me on that because I don't know for sure. Those are the cap guys and the ones that know all the, the ins and outs of the contracts and stuff. So, I mean, you never know. You can pick up a guy, but I just there's just nobody that you can pick up that's just going to be seamless. It's LeBron James. It's just you're not messing around there. I just keep waiting for the next thing. I knew it was probably going to be bad or kind of bad with LeBron going down with that groin injury, but not weeks, man, not weeks. And they're saying this right away, right? So this isn't like a deep dive into his injury or like hey, getting a second opinion or we'll see how he is in the morning. No, it was right away. So that'll tell you too. They know it's something bad that you can't just bounce back from, no matter if you're LeBron James or not. You know what I mean? So not good, man. Not good. All this momentum and all the win streak and everything, and Luka just going off. It's sad, and I'm just hoping Luka's okay too. I'm hoping he's just stiff because he's still kind of working himself into shape and getting used to playing every other night, which is not easy. I mean, if you guys think about it, it's I know these guys are pro athletes. They got they get all this kind of privileged medical treatment and trainers working with them every day. But it's still tough. It's still a tough job. Saw Horford knee in Luka's face. Oh, I didn't see that one. Is that where he was down for a little bit? And they had 2 teammates help him up. Brett. I know he was down for a minute. And because whenever Luka goes down or LeBron, I kind of just go, okay, all right, pump the brakes. It's probably not a big thing. He's just selling it to get a tech or, a foul or something. LeBron sells it like no other player I've ever seen in my life. But Luka's not too far off from what I've noticed so far. But Yeah, I mean, he's got to be banged up. He's got to be just sore in general, and then dealing with this back. I mean, if you guys have ever had a back problem, that's no fun. As somebody that plays sports, if you got a back problem, you can't really do anything like that. It limits pretty much everything that you do. And the older you get, the worse it gets. Because then you realize how much you use your back in pretty much everyday movement. Probably Horford dunked, and then Luka kept going and hung on the rim. Oh, okay. Oh, I so like what he was just swinging around and hit him in the face. Like, yeah, that happens a lot. But I'm more worried about his back. Like, just, I mean, that's what ended Larry Bird's career. He just couldn't move anymore. From all the diving on the floor and everything. Like, it's he just couldn't do it. Um, but yeah, so the major concern now is LeBron. I bet you they're going to give us vague timelines for probably about a week. We won't know. He'll get reevaluated, which they probably won't even tell us when that's going to happen. It'll just be like a shams tweet, in the middle of the day, all of a sudden saying, "Oh, LeBron James is out for X amount of weeks, or he'll be back in 10 days, or something like that." But yeah, UFC style, oh man, I gotta look at that again. If you got a link to that, man, put that in the comments. I want to see that. Um, yeah, so the LeBron, it kind of hinges on LeBron's status at the moment. But there's one thing, I guess, one positive you could say is if Luka is healthy and can stay upright, you're gonna get a peek at what it's like to root for Luka as the main dude um, for the next decade, hopefully. Uh, and it'll be interesting, I'm sure. I wouldn't be surprised he's dropping 40 a couple times in the next few games because they're gonna need it. You can't just replace LeBron. Um, and then Austin Reeves too. Austin Reeves probably play a much bigger role. He's taken a backseat a little bit since Luka's come in makes perfect sense. Why? I mean, he was kind of the main ball handler before Luka came in, and D'Lo left, right? So or got traded, left. Act like he was his choice. And then there's Hayes too. Somebody mentioned Hayes in the comments. Yeah, Brett, that was you too, Brett. Like you're all over this, Brett. Yeah, he was out tonight. None of us expected it. It was one of those just sudden, all of a sudden, Hayes is out. Like, why? Like, I think he has like a knee contusion, but he's been playing through it, and then maybe it just got really sore over the long flight or something. Who knows? There was like zero details on it, so hopefully that's not something that lingers. Because you see inside the paint, there's just nobody there. There's nobody there to protect the rim. They got. I don't. Did Len even play tonight? I don't think so because I don't remember seeing him on the floor. If that's the case, oh my god, he didn't. He was a DNP again, dude. Why did they even pick that guy up? Wow, that's kind of crazy. Your starting center is out, and the backup that you got specifically to bolster the front court didn't play by decision, not for any other reason. Cam Reddish was a DNP again. I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time before that guy gets waived. Jordan Goodwin's impressed me. I will say that every time that guy goes on the floor, he's an effort, dude. And I love that because you can't teach it. You kind of just have it, right? The energy, the effort, the pride and passion to play ball like that. He's diving for balls and everything. He only played 16 minutes, but plus 6, 6 points, 3 rebounds, a steal. He's great. And I think he's won over JJ. I think JJ's like, oh, I love this kid because Shake Milton didn't even play. There's another thing. I thought Shake was actually going to have a role on this team, but I think after getting Goodwin and seeing what he can do, because he can play both ends, and he plays with heart. Trey Jemison only played 6 minutes. I thought there was going to be a lot more from him too. I love that guy too for the same reason, but he didn't do anything. In 6 minutes, he got up one shot, one personal foul, and he was out. So JJ clearly didn't like that matchup, which I thought was going to give them a bit of an edge, maybe not an edge, but like make them a bit more competitive in the paint, against the big bodies. I know they didn't have Porzingis, but Horford can be, can do UFC kicks in the air apparently with his knee. Always surprised came into his zone. Yeah, Cam was that same Duke team, right? With Zion and RJ Barrett, right? It was those three. And it was obviously all the hype was about Zion, but they said like, oh, these two other guys could be stars too. I think Jay or Barrett's averaging like 21 points or something with Toronto. So he's kind of found his little niche, but Cam just never got there. I think it's because he's just so limited offensively. He just can't do much. Yeah, I mean, the shooting is so hot and cold with these guys, right? It's like Reeves will have a red hot night, and then he'll just go over, and like LeBron, like you just said, over 6, 11 for 23. I mean, I always said, if you're really good at something, if you're like elite, like potentially the best in the league at something, why would you do anything else? Like LeBron is literally the best in the league still, I think, personally. I mean, there could be an argument for others at driving to the hoop and scoring. Like just plowing through everybody and getting to the rim. I mean, he's not a great free throw shooter. He went 0 for 3 from the free throw line tonight. He airballed a free throw, what was it, 2 games ago? Which is rough to watch against, for a guy that they call, or people call it GOAT. And then Luka goes 5 for 10 from deep. He had a 50% shooting night from both sides, or field goals, 3-pointers. It just, I don't know. You just don't get much from the other guys. Vando started tonight. He had 4 points, 8 boards, not bad there. 2 steals, not bad there either, but he doesn't move the needle in any other way, right? They have 3 guys that can score and nobody else can really, besides Connect, who's super hot and cold. He was 4 for 6 tonight, but I don't think he got the ball that much. I think Boston did a good job of kind of like, making sure he didn't get hot. Because it just limited his opportunities. But taking out injury, do we think? Do we think the game is better if in LA? What do you mean? Like home court advantage kind of thing? I don't think. I think I've never been to TD Garden, so I don't know what that atmosphere is like. It sounded pretty raucous tonight. Like it may have shifted things a little bit, but I've definitely been Staples and Crypto tons of times, and that place can definitely shift the momentum when it gets loud. So I don't know. Maybe. I just think the difference here was that Boston is a better all-around team with a ton of chemistry and a ton of game changers, right? It's like the other night, was it Pritchard and Derek White, right? Had the most points combined of any 2 Celtics in the history of the team. I mean, if you think about that, and all the great players that have come through that team, that's insane. That's insane, right? That's how good they are. They just have these tiers of great players where the Lakers don't have that. There's a significant drop off from the top 3 guys. I mean, you get Rui in there, and he has played so much better. Is LeBron out for the season? I wouldn't go that far yet. Like I said, I am concerned that they made an assessment that fast that it's weeks, not days, right? And that's not an official from the team. I think McMenamin said a source said, right? But usually McMenamin's on point, right? He's pretty wired in. So I'd believe anything that he says when it comes to team stuff. And if he says he's out for a few weeks already, like, dude, that's not good, man. I mean, how many weeks are left in the season? Like, I think the last game is what? April, like mid-April, right? April 13th is the last game. I don't know, dude. That's tough. I mean, even if LeBron gets back like the last week or the second to last week, he's gonna need time to ramp up, And they got some tough matchups at the end there too. They play OKC in consecutive games in April. So they're basically setting up shop in OKC for April 6th to the 8th. That's going to be brutal. But the thing is, okay, what I've noticed from OKC and what I've noticed from other like kind of title contenders, even Boston, is they're being very selective on when they play their good guys, right? Like they're their prime guys, their starters. Shea rested the other night. He hadn't missed a game all season. That was it. Um, Jason Tatum rested the other night. Porzingis and Holiday have been in and out of the lineup. Thing is that those guys are so good, those teams, that it doesn't really matter. I mean, they've already kind of secured their spot. Nobody's catching. Lakers aren't catching OKC, especially now with LeBron out. So they're secure, right? So this is like a management play. This is like, how do we get through and stay as healthy as possible right when the playoffs start, which is always a tough challenge for any team. I don't care who you are, or how old, young, whatever. It's just tough. You play every other night. Just hope it's a strain. I think that's what they said. I think they said groin strain, I believe. But the thing is, groin strain is it's like it's tricky. It's like a hammy too, or a calf. Like it could seem like it's healed and you're ready to go. You play 5 minutes and you do it again, right? You do the same damn thing again because it wasn't you didn't have those same movements and motion to determine how bad the injury is, right? So, and especially with a guy like 40 years old, like I said, with all those miles, I mean, you're gonna tread lightly. They've already been treading lightly with him. It's going to be a difficult decision making process for the next couple of weeks for them. On when he plays. Does he? I mean, it's just tough. Just going through my head all the scenarios. It's not good. It's just not good. Yeah. So it just says groin. Timetable for return is still to be determined, which is never a good thing. His injury may sideline him for a matter of weeks and not a matter of days. Dude, that is doom and gloom, especially on a road trip, a long one against really good teams. That just sucks. It sucks more of like, yeah, I don't want it to be a tear either. I mean, if it's a tear, he's done. Yeah, that's it. And they'll keep those things under wraps. It's like, I think somebody told me after AD went down in his first game with Dallas that he was done, and they didn't want to tell anybody. I wasn't like, I didn't jump on it and be like, oh God, I got this scoop or whatever. But you look at it now, and Kyrie went down, and then immediately after, they're like, I think Shams came out and said there's a chance that they shut down AD, because why the hell would you keep going? If especially a guy like that who's had an injury history without Kyrie there. I mean, you're not contending with anybody in the West. You're just not. You're going to be a first, second round exit if you're lucky. So I wouldn't be surprised he gets shut down. And this is the time of the season where teams start making those decisions. Like, do we have a chance? Do we want to go to the playoffs, or do we want to, conserve what we have for next season and the future? Right? It's like an evaluation process that goes day by day, and it changes day by day because, like I said, there's games every other day. So I hope I'm sure we'll learn. It'll be a topic of discussion everywhere tomorrow, and probably for the next week. Right? Are they still a contender without LeBron? Is LeBron done for the season? Yada yada yada. It'll just go on and on and on until a decision's made. And LeBron is super cagey with his information. So even guys like me that get all the reports and stuff, and we talk to other reporters, we don't know anything most of the time when it comes to LeBron, because he just keeps everything close to the chest. And it sucks when it comes to that, because we never know what's going to happen. But that's like his kind of controlling the narrative thing. All power to him, and nobody else can do it like that. But anyway, I've been on here, almost 30 minutes. I better jump off. Pay attention to the headlines, man, because we could get an update as soon as tomorrow, maybe even later tonight, on LeBron's long-term status. I doubt it. I'll bet you they'll wait a week, see how he progresses. But not good. Not a good thing. Lost the Celtics, not good. This new injury popping up, not good. Just all that momentum just gone. It just sucks. But that's sports, man. That's professional sports. But Till next time. See you later.